Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Nurse Hlali's here and I'm back with another video. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So today we're doing another episode of my pregnancy and birth story series, and today we have another lovely guest and I'm going to let her introduce herself. So before we do the introductions, if you enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you are always informed when I post a video. So let's not waste any time. Let me head over to our lovely guest. Please tell us who you are.
Hi guys, my name is Keneiloe and I am a mom of two beautiful boys. One is almost 4 and the other one is just over 1. And I am a wife and what else? YouTuber and digital content creator.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Keneiloe. And also thank you for agreeing. Thank you so much for agreeing, because I know when we talk about pregnancy and we talk about birth, it's a very sensitive and intimate thing. So not everyone would be comfortable sharing their experience. So I think maybe because you're a YouTuber, you're happy to.
Yeah, I'm used to sharing.
Yeah, you're used to sharing, so that's great. So yeah, anyways, I will link Keneiloe's details on the comment section down below. I'm gonna pin it there, and also on the description box so that you guys can watch her channel. What do you do on your channel?
It's mostly vlogs, but I think because I'm always with my boys, I show my boys a lot, or like my motherhood journey.
Yeah. And
And
that's very nice, because then they can have like memories of when they were growing up.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I like about YouTube, because you keep those memories. And even if I always think about it this way, I know it's terrible and God forbid, but I always think about, sure, what if I die? And my kids maybe never got a chance to know me, then on YouTube they can just watch me and everything like that. But that's a terrible way of thinking about it.
But you're not the only person. I watched someone recently and she said the exact same thing. She said, I think her mom passed away when she was like 4 or 5.
I think
But
I
she doesn't even know
remember
what kind of
this,
person her mom was. So if she had YouTube, she'd be able to watch and say, oh, my mom liked this.
Yeah.
Or this is how my mom looked. Or these were her
Yes.
favorite things. So you're not the only one.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So I'm going to be asking you a few questions. It's really not a lot. It's really not a lot. Then you can tell us about your experience. Okay. And you guys are welcome to share whatever experiences you have of pregnancy and birth. Some of the things that Keneiloe is going to tell us about. If you guys have like similar experiences, then if you are comfortable, you are welcome to share with us in the comment section. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so tell us, how old were you when you had your first baby? By the way, how old were you when you got married?
You can put it in the video.
I can put it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I was... Which marriage are we?
Oh my gosh, how many?
Okay. My husband traditionally got married when I was 22.
Okay.
And we had our white wedding when I was 23.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
23. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
23.
I think I remember one of your videos, but like your very, very first videos.
Yeah.
Didn't
you've
you
been
say that
watching
you
almost like from the very beginning? I
the
remember.
beginning.
Yeah.
So didn't you say that you guys waited 7 years before you had a child? Or how long was it after?
Let's say 5.
Okay.
5 years.
So from 23, right?
Yes. Yeah, let's count 23.
Okay.
Until 27.
7 or 28.
Yeah.
28. So you had your first child when you were 28. And I think the previous mom that I had also was 28 when she had her first baby.
How long was she married?
Was it 3 years? Or
Okay.
yeah, I think 3 or 5. Okay, between 3 and 5 years. Between 3 and 5 years. All right. So you were 28 when you had your first baby. Okay, so you've already told us that you have 2 kids. So who was your healthcare provider when you were pregnant? Was it a midwife? Was it a gynae? Were you on medical aid?
It was a gynae and I was on medical aid.
Okay, so then did your medical aid choose where you go? Because I know with some medical aids they will have, well, most of them, they will have like network hospitals and network doctors and gynaes.
Yes.
So that sort of like chooses for you where you should go, because if you go outside then you're gonna have to like pay co-payments and all of that. So was it a similar thing with your medical aid?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So, so before I fell pregnant, I was seeing a gynae already.
Okay.
My gynae already, because we were trying to fall pregnant, and it wasn't happening, and we wanted to make sure everything is fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of reasons why I chose that particular gynae. Okay, so firstly, the GP recommended gynaes, and I researched the best gynaes in my area. So the same name happened to appear twice on the GP's list and on the recommended best gynaes in the area where I stayed. So, and then I searched on my medical aid to see if they do pay the particular gynae.
That gynae,
Yes, is it on their network and do they pay, or is it a portion or full amount or whatever? So that's how I decided to go to that particular gynae before I fell pregnant.
Okay.
So then when I fell pregnant, it was easy to just continue with the same person. And what else? Yeah, so he was on the network. Yeah, I don't know if I should stop there.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So in essence, you chose your gynae before you were actually pregnant.
I did.
And it wasn't influenced by the medical aid, because you already had the gynae before, but you did check if that specific gynae is in the network of your medical aid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was, but the hospital that he worked at was, I think they didn't cover the full amount.
So it wasn't a network hospital.
It wasn't a network hospital.
Okay.
So then I had to upgrade. We had
Your
to
plan.
upgrade the plan that we were on, so that I can go give birth at the
That
particular-
specific,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So you really wanted this specific gynae.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh wow.
I did that with both pregnancies actually. Because after I gave
Wow.
birth, we downgraded again. When I fell pregnant, like,
And
came
then
back
again.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's actually quite nice. And I've never thought about that. I've never actually thought about that, because a lot of people, they will have someone specific in mind. But now they, because especially like the lower options of the medical aid, they like restrict you so much. They'll say go to this hospital, go to that hospital, and then maybe you already know someone you'd like to go to, and then so that's actually quite something nice that people can do.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't think of that. Okay, Keneiloe is giving you tips, guys. if you have someone specific that you want to go to, just upgrade your medical aid. Wow, that's really nice. I like that. Okay, so you got pregnant at 28, you were on medical aid, you had your gynae. How did you find your pregnancy journey?
First one was very smooth. For the longest time that is. I was very active already.
Let me ask something.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
let me just take it just a bit. Yeah. So when Keneiloe was coming here, guys, she told me that she's doing a race in the morning. Okay.
Okay. Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I was.
So, is that something? And I know you've also. I saw this other picture with the other YouTuber that we spoke about earlier on. I think you guys went on a race together.
Okay.
Lindo.
Yes.
And I know your husband he plays golf,
Yes.
right? So, and I think you had mentioned it in one of your videos that you used to be active or play golf before pregnancy. So were you like an active person before pregnancy?
Yes, I was active in terms of I used to run.
Okay.
I used to run. Yeah, I did run. I was running 21Ks, 10Ks. I ran almost every weekend.
Yeah.
Especially like in the warmer seasons. I used to do gym a few times a week as well.
Okay.
I think actually when I felt pregnant, I was very fit. I was at my fittest when I felt pregnant the first. And the second time I was starting to get to work out
Where
again.
you used to be. Yeah.
So I actually do think that me being active that's something with regards to me falling pregnant. So I was active. I was quite active. Yeah. Just the second one where I wasn't really.
But I mean, you were still recovering from the first one.
Yes, and it was a pandemic. Everything was closed. Yeah. We were scared to go out. So that's why my second one I wasn't really because of all the restrictions as well.
Okay, that makes sense. So the fact that you were quite active in your pregnancy, it made things a bit easier for you.
In terms of the pregnancy journey, yes, it did.
Okay. All right. So what was your birth plan like? Okay, we already know that you were going to give birth with your gynae, but were you going to give birth at a hospital? How was that going to work?
Yes, my gynae, and I remember he still has a sign by the reception area that says he only delivers babies at the hospital.
Okay.
Sort of where he works.
Where it is. Works,
yeah, it's not inside the hospital, but it's right next to the hospital.
Okay.
So it's on like sort of like
is it like
entrance.
Okay, is it a maternity ward in the hospital?
Where he delivers, yes. But his office, when you go for the checkups, is just around the corner. Yeah. So he only delivers at that particular hospital. I don't know, maybe it was different before I started going to him, hence he has the announcement, I'm guessing. But he only delivers at that one hospital, so I didn't have like any other choice.
Any other choice. Oh, that's quite interesting because most gynaes, they have like quite a few hospitals that they're working at. Maybe like 3 hospitals. So your gynae, it was literally that one. Sure. Okay. So what happened leading up to the days or months of your birth? I know there's something that influenced how you ended up giving birth with your first pregnancy. So tell me about that. And how did you want to give birth? What did you have in mind?
I wanted to have a natural birth. I wanted to have a natural birth. And then, can't remember, but I was in close to 30 weeks. You'll explain now.
Okay. Yeah. Give us the story first.
So there was something about my
your placenta.
My placenta. I can't remember the term now. I just remember it's placenta. He ended up saying it's placenta previa. But I think around week 29 he was saying, I'm not so happy with something about the placenta. So I think I went 2 or 3 times. He kept saying, I'll check on the following appointment how it looks. But it's supposed to be a certain centimeter. That's where you come in.
Okay.
He kept saying that, and then eventually he's like, no, at this point it's supposed to have moved up to a certain point. So because it hasn't moved, we unfortunately have to have a C-section. So natural birth is not even an option for you. So he did say, if I decide that I'm gonna attempt natural birth, then we might. It's not safe. Something about excessive bleeding, and it might lead to either the death of one of us or both of us. So that's how I don't have a choice.
Okay. So before I explain what placenta previa is, so he found this out. You said close to your 30 weeks appointment.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you said he wanted to check at your follow-up visits. So how frequently were you seeing him now, since you had sort of like this issue that's coming up? Was it like every 2 weeks, maybe every week?
Yes, I think initially it was every 2 weeks. and then after that it came every week instead of every month, because then now it was considered high risk because of that placenta previa. Yes.
Did you have any like bleeding or spotting
No,
at that time?
I didn't, but I was told to be careful, like don't pick up things, don't be so quick when you do something.
Yeah.
Also reduce like your workouts and things like that. So
Okay. All right. Because so basically placenta previa, in simple terms, it's when your placenta is low lying. I think if I just insert a picture somewhere here, then you guys can see. So sometimes your placenta will be in the front part of your uterus, or at the back, or at the top, but then sometimes it can be like very close to your cervix, which is at the bottom. Yeah. So as a person progresses throughout the pregnancy, if maybe let's say the placenta was anterior low, as the uterus stretches up the abdomen, sometimes it will move up. Okay. But then other times it doesn't, and it just grows to the lower portion of your uterus. And then as the pregnancy progresses, it can actually be overlying the cervix. So that's dangerous, because then if it's overlying the cervix, then you can have the bleeding, you can have spotting, or if you have sex, so anything maybe that just affects your cervix, anything that affects your cervix or goes up your vagina, it can cause like the bleeding to be, right?
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. So there's that as well. So yeah, it's dangerous, because then the placenta is supposed to serve your baby with blood. So if the blood is going to your vagina, it's not going up to the baby where it's supposed to be. So then the baby won't get oxygen and all the nutrients that baby needs to get. And then also for your side, it's dangerous, because if you bleed too much, you're going to so your organs will not be able to get the oxygen that they need, and it's very dangerous. You can actually die from that if you lose enough blood, and the baby can also not make it. So what's usually done is that at like around 28 weeks, then we'll do another scan to check where's the position of the placenta. And then if you're someone that's not with a gynae, so I suppose your gynae probably did scans every visit.
He did.
Yeah. So if you are with a midwife, depending on whether your midwife does scans at her practice, you might have scans at every visit. Or if you're with a midwife and then she has a sonographer that does scans for her, then you might only be doing scans at certain visits. Like, for example, the dating scan, which is at the beginning, the scan between 18 and 22 weeks to check for baby's gender and any abnormalities. It's called a fetal anomaly scan. And then there'll be a 28-week scan now, which is to check where's the placenta. And then after that, you'd have another scan at 34 weeks. Either between 34 weeks and 36 weeks with the gynae. So it's a lot of scans. But so now if obviously there's a bit of a problem at the 28-week scan or 30-week scan, like in your case, then maybe the gynae is going to say, the sonographer, it's a sonographer, they're going to say, okay, come more frequently, I want to monitor this thing. So, okay, now you wanted natural birth, and then gynae's like, not gonna happen. How did that feel?
I was shattered. I was so depressed. And you know what the funny thing is? My husband attended every emotional.
Oh no.
My husband was attending every doctor's appointment but that one. He had a meeting or something like that. And I was like, oh my word, I'm dying.
And he's not there.
And then he called, because he felt really bad for not making it to that. And I'm like, the one appointment where you should make it, I got bad news for the first time. And I got over it after a couple of tries, after a few days, after research. And I think for some reason I spoke to this old friend of mine from high school, and I can't remember what we were talking about, but something pregnancy related, or maybe she was checking up on me, and I told her, and she said I was like, what?
The same thing.
Because
Wow.
I tried to check on YouTube, and I think at that time it was only American YouTubers that had spoken about it. I'm like, how come there's no one from South Africa that's talking about this placenta previa thing? So I think for me to get someone who actually had it was very like comforting for me. Like, okay, it's fine.
You're not alone.
I'm gonna die. I obviously have to be careful, but I thought I'd be okay.
Yeah. Oh, these things happen. These things happen.
It's very unpredictable.
Yeah. And it's no use us as women beating ourselves up about it, because as long as you're gonna have a baby, that's what's important. Because really there are like complications whereby and situations whereby you don't want to risk it, and the safer option is just to do a Caesar. So what matters is that the baby will be fine, and you have your baby. Sure. Yeah. So now, okay, at how many weeks now did they decide that they're going to do the Caesar?
It was 36 weeks.
Wow. So your baby was preterm, but I remember you
weeks,
did
6
mention.
days.
Yeah. Okay.
Was it 36? 36, not 37.
Not 37.
Because I remember also when I was doing research, it did say you can't go past 37, I think. That's why my doctor really pushed it up to the day before the 37. Because he was saying after 37, you might go into natural labor. So to avoid that, you're going to have a C-section on...
like just before 37.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. All right.
Now I have a preterm on top of
preterm.
everything else.
But at least your gynae gave Zuzu a bit of time to grow.
Yes, yeah, he did give me what are they called? Something that helps the baby grow, steroids.
Okay.
As well to prepare for
the lungs as well, for the preterm labor. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So, okay, now you had the date, right? When did you find out the date? Did you find it out like maybe at your last scan, which was 36 weeks, or when did you know that, okay, on this specific date my baby will be coming?
I think I found out a few weeks prior to, I can't remember when the last, but I think I saw him that week actually,
Oh, okay.
A week before I gave birth. But I think by then I already had the date.
The date, okay. So probably he looked at your weeks and he decided that, okay, when you're at this.
Yes.
Okay. So how did you feel the days leading up to the day of the birth? I mean, obviously this was your first baby. Yeah.
I was a bit nervous because I don't know what to expect. But also I was sort of on bed rest. Sort of, because I was told not to do all these things. But I was prepared. I packed my hospital bag and I was like, I'm ready to go. But I was very nervous.
I can imagine. Because this is something that's going to change your title forever. And now you realize that, wow, it's literally coming. I can't imagine how that feels. All right. So how did you have the whole experience of the cesarean section, being at the hospital? How did you find that?
It was fine.
Was it the first time ever that you've been admitted?
Yes, since I was born. Yes, it was the first time. But because we did have that antenatal class. Antenatal class, not prenatal. I always
antenatal.
Antenatal class. We sort of knew what to expect. So we did do like a tour of the maternity ward, and they did tell us this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. So I had an idea of what to expect on the day. So it wasn't as scary in the morning that we're leaving. I think the thing that I just didn't expect was how they said, okay, you're gonna have it at 8, but at 7 they're like, where are you? You are next. I'm like,
Oh.
what do you mean? But fortunately, we were already
Yeah.
on the way to the hospital.
Okay.
But now it felt rushed because it
Yes.
was
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
earlier than expected. Yeah, it was
Okay.
rushed.
I get it.
Yeah, I think maybe the previous person, it was quicker than, I don't know what happened, but I'm guessing, yeah, it was like maybe an hour earlier than
Yeah.
the time that I was
Oh
given.
wow. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
but fortunately, like I said, we left early because
Yeah.
we were nervous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You wanna get there on time.
We get there and then you're told, where are you? Fortunately, we're driving into the hospital. So, yeah. What else? It wasn't bad. I expected
the needle.
Yeah, I expected it to be very bad, but it wasn't. But I'm not sure if maybe it wasn't bad because I was expecting the worst. I think I was expecting the worst, hence it wasn't
Bad.
too bad. What else? Yeah, it was just
Did you
good.
feel when they started to cut you? Not pain, but like, could you feel something and then movements? Because I know with some moms they say they feel like pressure or just something moving, but not pain.
Yes, I think I felt towards just before the baby came out, I felt like they're moving me around or they're pulling out the baby or something, but only just like a few seconds before the baby came out.
Yeah. Okay, and then your baby was here. How did that feel?
I was a bit numb. I didn't cry. I wasn't happy. I was just like, okay.
Wow,
what's
baby's
next?
here. Like,
I remember my husband is the one that was excited. Moving up and down.
taking the
following
baby, taking pictures
He
and
was
videos
so
and
excited. He forgot about me the moment that guy was born, and he's still the same way.
my
Now he was so upset.
gosh.
For me, I didn't even take a photo. I don't know.
But it's
I
a
think
lot
maybe 'cause
going
he's
on your
preterm.
end.
Yeah, I think maybe also,
Yeah.
I don't know, like I thought I'd have like skin to skin. I didn't have any of that. They literally just showed me and said, here he is, and they took him away.
Yeah.
So I think maybe also that I didn't feel like an immediate bond because
Yeah.
I think maybe it's because of that. It's just like,
Okay, baby's here. I can see there's my baby.
there he is.
But how was baby when baby came out now? Because he was preterm, but was he a happy, healthy preterm baby?
Yes, he was happy and healthy. He was just tiny, but not too tiny.
Okay.
It wasn't. They didn't say, "Oh no, he's gonna go immediately to
Yeah,
NICU or anything
yeah,
like that." They didn't
yes.
say that. But I think maybe they were just trying to be be careful.
Yeah,
also, like
cautious.
hence,
Yeah.
cautious. Hence, they took him away immediately to check is he fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
But
was his weight?
He was 2.69.
Okay, no, he's quite big, hey?
Yeah, it's 2.69.
Yeah, he was quite big for 36 weeker.
Okay.
Well, not for a 36 weeker, as in 36 weeker babies, they like smaller. Because I mean, it's almost 37, and some babies are born at 37 and they're like around 2.5, 2.6. But yeah. I mean, for a preterm baby, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Do you think you had enough support during that time? And even after you gave birth and you came home, because now you were a Caesar mom, you just had like a major operation. So how did the recovery feel like?
Is it from?
So from the hospital, because now remember you've just had an operation, and you do have to take care of baby at some point in the hospital, carry baby, feed. So how was the pain? Like, how did you find that whole experience of being at the hospital? And even when you went home now and you really need to, because I mean, when you're at the hospital, ladies, it's nice. The midwives are there, they help you out. So how did you feel now when you had to go home with the baby? Who was helping you? Your extended family members, were they there?
I did have support. I'm just not sure if it's the kind of support that I needed. I think maybe, especially my grandmother, I think maybe she didn't know how to assist me, and also I wasn't vocal about how she should assist me, because I'm not really gonna add my husband. He was busy. I think the role of my husband, also the second time, and other dads, I've heard like that first few days, they do a lot of running around for some reason. You need milk, you need
Go get this.
whatever, you need nappies, you need, there's always something. I feel like they run errands a lot that week for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though you think that you're prepared, I don't know if there's a way for us to change that, but I feel like with both pregnancies my husband was doing, but it ended up being both of us also because of jaundice. But I'm sure you'll ask me about that.
Yes.
Yeah, my grandmother was there, but I feel like I needed help with the baby, and she wasn't assisting me with the baby. She was helping me with everything else
In the
but
house,
the baby.
the house chores.
Yeah, so she would make sure that the baby's clothes are clean, baby has clothes to wear, but in terms of holding the baby so I can take a nap,
and then you can take a shower.
I can eat.
Yeah.
So she wasn't assisting with what
You
I
needed.
personally needed. Yeah.
And I think that's very important, and I think also when you're a first time mom, you don't really know what you're going to need. So it's good that you are actually talking about that, so that other moms that are having a baby for the first time, they can know that, okay, actually me eating is also important, because I think we can easily forget those things and just take it for granted that it's fine.
I think that's why now I've seen like people talking about how you can best assist a mom that's just given birth. For example, maybe go help them clean the house, maybe take prepared or cooked meals for them, because you don't even have, because as much as my grandmother was there, my grandma's like, I'm not touching your stove and your pots. You're gonna have to cook for yourself and your husband.
Oh, I'm not cooking for your husband.
I'm not cooking for your husband. I think that was the main reason. I think if it was just me and her, she would cook, but now she's thinking she's not gonna cook for my husband. So I had to cook. First day I got discharged, I had to cook. So you can imagine, so things like that. There's a lot of other things, but same day I was doing the pots. So if you have to buy prepared meals, now you have options. Don't stand and cook.
And that's exactly what I was gonna say. If it was in my house, I was probably gonna buy takeaways, because
I don't know why we didn't buy takeaways. But like there's these companies that will sell you
like what's this? There's this other one that's is it Instagram? I know the kind of
I think I started using them, but only late. I didn't know that there was an option.
Sure. Wow. And to think that something simple as food, like
food, you don't even
it's a huge
like
chore.
This person needs food. And also, like, how people will come and say they come to see the baby. Now you have to make food for them. Come with food.
For real?
Yes.
No, that's not right, guys.
Yeah, now you have to make them food. So, but I think maybe people just don't know. Like when you visit a person that has a small baby,
Bring something.
Be there to assist them. Don't come and be the needy person.
Yes.
Offer, just say, okay, do you want a nap? I'll check the baby. Because sometimes you try to nap, but it's not deep sleep, because you're thinking this baby might wake up and I might not hear the baby. So you're half asleep. It's not like deep sleep. So small things like that.
And I'm sure that anxiety of thinking, is the baby still alive? Maybe not sleep for too long.
Exactly.
These things are hectic, hey? So, what did you learn from the whole experience? And some of the things you might have spoken about them. The experience of your first pregnancy, what did you learn? And what did you make a conscious decision that, okay, this, I want to take it with me in my next pregnancy?
I think for me, the main thing was not listening to everyone's advice. Just know what you can and you can't do. I think one of the things that I made sure not to do was not to do this whole bedroom thing. It didn't work. I don't know if you've heard of the one where you have to stay indoors or in particularly in the bedroom. I know the bedroom is 10 days.
Don't go out.
Don't go outside.
Yeah.
Only go if you have to, and if you have to, maybe it's to the hospital. But you can't go to the shop.
And for how long does that last?
The bedroom one is 10 days.
Okay.
So you can't even go sit in the lounge to watch TV. You can only watch TV.
But if you have a small family and it's just you and your husband, that's also gonna come into the bedroom. Is that so fine? Or does it depend on like whether you have a big family and there are other people who will be using the lounge?
No, I think it doesn't matter. They just don't want you to leave the bedroom with the baby. I'm not sure what's special about.
Because I'm trying to think about it in my head that I mean, a newborn is quite sensitive. They're still building their immunity.
Okay.
So you don't want to overwhelm them a lot with a lot of things that are out in the world, because
Makes sense.
yeah, the world is not really a clean place. But because, Tina, we have the immunity to a lot of the bacteria and viruses that are out there, our bodies already know them and they can fight them. But with the newborn is still learning and building that immunity, and the first person that they're going to start building the immunity from is the mom. Okay, so, and then now obviously the father, if the father's always around the baby, then the baby's going to take some things from dad. Even when you do things like skin to skin, and that bacteria on your skin goes onto baby, so things like that. So I mean, I would think that especially if you're going to have visitors, maybe it's not a good idea to have visitors too soon, because people might come with coughs and colds and so many things, and then they can introduce those things to a newborn baby. So yeah, but now I'm trying to think about the one where you actually have to stay in the room. I don't know, yeah, but maybe it's also something similar.
I think so. Actually, I didn't think of it like that. But you know how like our families are, like they don't explain. They just tell you, don't leave the bedroom. Now you don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, I think, but it makes sense now that you're putting it like that. I think that was probably the reason. But maybe they also don't know. Maybe they were also told, don't leave your room.
Do it.
Don't leave your room. So all I knew was, okay, I can't leave my room. I have to be with this baby 24/7.
Yeah.
I don't have a TV in my room. And back then I wasn't even familiar with social media. I didn't even have like unkept Wi-Fi.
Oh my goodness.
So I was just like staring at this baby. So I think that's the main reason why I had this postpartum depression or postpartum whatever. It wasn't officially diagnosed, but I wasn't okay.
Yeah.
But I think it's because you know how the sun is so important. Like take a walk, go outside. So I wasn't even doing any of that.
That's also good for baby.
Yeah, so I think this time around I was like, okay, I'll stay indoors, yes, but I won't be in the room.
Yeah.
I'll watch TV, I'll sit with baby, I'll bring baby here.
Go outside
I'll go
for a
outside.
bit.
So that's the one thing that I made sure I don't
Do in the
this time,
second
this time
pregnancy.
around.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's talk about the second pregnancy now. So how was that? Yeah. How long did it take for you to fall pregnant the second time?
I think my firstborn he was just over Zuzu. He was just over a year and a half.
Okay.
And we're like, okay, I think we know what we're doing now.
Did you plan before you had your first child with your husband? Did you plan that, okay, we want to have this many kids and we want this to be the spacing in between them, that type of thing?
Yes, although we're not agreeing, but we did discuss how many kids we want, and we did say we want them to have a smaller age gap. Yeah, and I think also maybe because it took us long to have our firstborn, it's not like now we can afford to have a 5-year age gap. Yeah, so when Zuzu was, I think, just over 1.5, we started having talks again of a second-born.
Yeah.
And I think literally the following month I fell pregnant. So it was very different from my first, where it took us 2 years or so to
It was
fall
very... Oof. And then also, were you on contraceptives with second baby now?
I was for the first 6 months.
What were you using?
After I was using, what's the one that's safe when you're breastfeeding?
Tablets or the injection?
Tablets, the tabs.
Yeah.
There's a
high
particular,
end?
no, not high end.
But it only has progesterone only. Yeah, so whatever
Maybe it was that one. I
end.
just can't remember the name. Yeah, because I remember even the second time I had it. So yeah, the one that's safe for breastfeeding.
For breastfeeding,
must be
because
that one.
if you're breastfeeding, you don't want the ones that have estrogen.
I actually think it's high end.
It was high
Yeah.
end. Okay.
So I was for the first 6 months and then I stopped.
Okay. Wow, you stopped quite early after 6 months.
After 6 months, I stopped
Yo,
already.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you were literally not falling pregnant that whole time.
I wasn't.
Sure, which means people can actually have sex and not fall pregnant, guys. Tina, we're actually too scared. You can't even go a few months
But
without.
also, when you have a baby, now you can't have sex all the time.
Yeah.
You see, I think there is another thing now. Now it's difficult. Like, you're gonna wait for the baby to sleep. Now there's a nanny. Now you're like,
Imagine the
should we-
logistics.
Yeah, it changes a lot after you have babies. So yes, even me before I felt pregnant, I was like, oh, I don't want him.
Don't want any mistakes.
I don't want any mistakes. And then after that, you're like, but now I get it. Now you know there's also all these checking apps.
Yeah.
You know when you're ovulating and stuff.
Yes,
So
yeah.
you're like, hey, now I can't risk it. I can't risk it.
yeah.
So yeah.
So you were using the natural method then?
Yes, but I wasn't too focused on it.
Okay.
I knew, but also the reason why I didn't want to go on contraceptives again, I can't remember if I was told that. I just figured that the reason why we sort of struggled to conceive the first time was because I was on contraceptives for a few years.
Okay.
The pill.
Which one are you using? The pill.
I changed them quite a lot, but it was different pills.
Okay.
I can't remember the names, but I remember I used the government one. I remember the one that you get.
Trifacil.
I don't know. I thought they gave us the same ones.
Feminol.
Clearly not.
Yeah,
Clearly not.
there's a few
I
of
was on
them.
Femidine, I remember.
Okay.
Femidine, if that's the one I remember I was on for the longest time. When I started, I can't remember which one they gave me. And then at some point I was getting ones from the clinic, and then I later changed.
Yeah.
So I can't remember if I was told, like, even if you on the pill, as much as you think it doesn't last long, it does. However, affect
Your fertility.
fertility.
Yeah.
So I think I was thinking of that. I always thought, like, I struggled to fall pregnant, so I was like, I don't want to risk it again and delay us even further.
Yeah. So that's why you stopped.
That's
like,
why I stopped.
way
I was
before.
like, if I fall pregnant,
Yeah.
fine.
And I think we're gonna thank ourselves later, guys. Even though I haven't had a baby yet, but I really think couples who decide to like have their kids and keep the timing short in between, I really feel like they'll thank themselves later when they are 50 and the kids are gone out of the house and you're still fresh and you can still literally be with your husband and it's just the two of you without kids.
Because I've seen flames now. Now with the small age, I've seen flames.
I can imagine, but I think that's how I want to do it, at least. Yeah, because I just want to get the whole raising kids huba out of the way. Then I know once my firstborn is like 5 and the other one is like 3, or the firstborn is like 7 and the other one is 5 years old, I know I have fully grown kids and I can live my life and they're independent.
Because I don't want to be paying like school fees when I'm a pensioner. It's like, no, guys. And also I think things are still fresh in your mind. And also the clothes, I've noticed we're giving the baby a lot of clothes.
Yes.
The cords and everything. So like before you give them away. So yeah.
It helps. It
does.
helps. But yeah, the flames you will see. Okay, then maybe we can just summarize the second pregnancy. So how was your birth with that one? How was the experience of the pregnancy? And even now when baby was here, since you've done this before, sort of, how did it feel?
The second pregnancy was fine. I wasn't as active because of the pandemic, like I said. I didn't gain too much weight. I actually don't gain
during the pregnancy.
During the pregnancy, I always gained my weight after I gave birth with both pregnancies.
Okay.
But this baby was heavy, and I had a lot of pain. Kind of what's this pain here?
Low abdominal pain.
Yeah, there's a term that I'm looking for. So is it cervical? Is it cervical pain? I can't remember. Yeah, but I had it felt.
Was that when baby's head was down and baby was starting to go down into your pelvis?
Not even pelvic pain.
Okay.
I was looking for
Yeah.
that word. I was in pain a lot. It wasn't even when baby was facing down. I think
So quite early in the
quite
pregnancy.
early in the pregnancy. Maybe not too early, but maybe let's say when does the baby face down? Third trimester.
After 30 weeks, the baby starts to assume the position that they. Yeah. So
maybe it is. It wasn't too early, but it wasn't like
close to
giving birth.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a very. The baby was heavy. My stomach was huge. Like people thought I'm giving birth anytime soon, and I wasn't even close.
Oh my god.
But I had a big baby, and he was very tall as well. So it was just uncomfortable, sleepy, turning. It was just uncomfortable.
And you didn't experience all of that with
I
Zuzu.
didn't experience any of that. I wasn't in pain with Zuzu. Zuzu was so smooth. And it's so weird how the pregnancy that was smooth was the one that had a complication. The one that felt uncomfortable and heavy, there was zero complications.
And you had the same gynae.
I had the same gynae.
Okay.
I had the same gynae.
So then, because you already had a Caesar, you were going to do a Caesar again.
I was contemplating having a VBAC until I found out that I can have more than 3 C-sections. So I was like, then there's no need for me to push. I really was playing around with the idea of a VBAC. And then I remember asking my gynae one day, like, is it true that I can only have 3 C-sections? And I was like, no, you can have as many as you want. Obviously, it's not advised because the more you have,
the more pressure you're putting on your uterus.
Yes, that's what he said, but you can definitely have more than 3. And I was like, I don't want more than 3 kids. Actually, maybe if whatever happens, maybe the 4th, but I don't want more. So I felt like maybe there's no reason for me to push.
Okay.
I didn't want, but also like I think also I was traumatized because a lot of friends that I had that went into natural labor, for some reason they ended up having a C-section. Like this one friend was she was in labor for days. So I'm like,
you don't want to be in labor for days, then it ends up in a Caesar.
Exactly. So I was like, I couldn't.
But that is very traumatic because now you would have gone through the pain and then you don't even birth naturally.
That's what I thought.
Then you have the labor pain and then you also have the pain after, which is the C-section pain.
You see, a lot of my friends around that time, for some reason, they were pushing it for. So I was like, no, if there's no need, then I'm just gonna have. But I really did like fantasize about having a vaginal birth.
Yeah, but you're a Caesar mom. Okay, so then how was now the recovery the second time around? So who was with you?
A bit.
Was it your granny again?
No.
Okay.
It was my mom this time around because my mom did eventually come the first time, but that was weeks later after my grandmother left. And I was a bit more open with my mom. I told her exactly what I needed,
what you wanted,
and she really did help with the baby, and I could do everything else. And I had a nanny as well because Zuzu was there. So
did you have a nanny the first time? It was just you, granny, and your husband.
I can't remember. I don't think I had a nanny. I had someone that was helping me around the house. So the agreement was she would help once the baby comes. But I think she wasn't coming every day. I think she was coming a few times a week. But also when she did arrive, I did notice that she doesn't really like babies.
Okay.
So she didn't really help a lot. Yeah, so she was doing the same thing that my grandmother was doing. And she would arrive and there was no work, and then she'd be like, so what must happen now? I noticed soon afterwards that she didn't like babies. So I'm like, now you're not helping me.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. And I had, my mom was around. I had a nanny, someone that I brought back. I had her with Zuzu, and Zuzu was small, and then I asked her to come back again. So I could really rest. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I really feel like moms they deserve to rest.
Yeah.
They deserve to rest. You know, I'm a huge advocate of moms having as much support as possible.
Sure. Yeah, it made a huge difference. So I didn't have the postpartum thing that
Depression
I had the first
anymore.
time. Yeah.
And you know, sometimes it's really just triggered by you not having enough support.
Yes,
You're
like
feeling
sleep.
overwhelmed.
Sleep, for
Sleep
example.
deprived.
You're hungry.
Yeah.
I don't even remember eating the first time. Now you don't have
Sure.
enough milk because you're not eating.
Now you're gonna be stressed about the milk not being enough.
You see, so I really did have help, enough help
Yeah.
this time around. Even though I had a toddler also to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was okay. It's just, I think the healing is the one that was a bit difficult compared to the first time. Yeah, the healing was a bit, it wasn't as easy as it was the first time. I was in a lot of pain. Yeah.
And how long did that pain last? Like when, after how long can you say that, okay, it went, the pain was gone. Now I felt like myself again.
I think it took a few weeks. A few weeks, definitely before the 6th week appointment. But it did take longer. I think with the first one, or maybe I was trying to be superwoman the first time because I had so many things to do. This time it took a few weeks. I remember the other day I thought I'm going back to hospital. I think Zuzu pulled me or something like that. I think
that abrupt movement.
Actually, because I remember when I went back for my 6 weeks appointment, it did really show that something. Can I get the thing that you put on? I don't know what they. I can't remember what they did.
You
but
saw
one of
this
those
at the
stitching-
6 weeks appointment.
Yeah, like it seemed like.
Was it gaping a bit? Did it seem like it gaped a bit and then it just healed like that?
I don't know. It looked sort of like. It wasn't a pimple, but it looked like it's a bit swollen, and then you could see like, because my gynae did say, oh yeah, I see there's a bit of an ana on it, so it looked a bit. I don't know. I can't remember if they stitched me but they did something. But something happened on the.
So they usually use. I mean, in private, they usually use stitches. So you don't really see them.
Yes, I didn't see it, but I could feel like, especially on the one part, like when you do with a surgical spirit, because for some reason when you touched on that particular spot,
it's like it goes in
it
a
would
bit.
sting. Yes.
Okay.
So it was that day because Zuzu was pulling me, and then yeah. But as a whole, it was more painful than the first time. But I think maybe because I had my kids closer. Yeah.
Okay, but by your 6 weeks appointment, then you felt fine. The pain was absolutely gone. Yeah,
it was.
Okay. Wow. Sure, Keneiloe, your story. Wow. How does it feel to be a mom of two?
It feels good. Yeah, it's a blessing because I think at some point I didn't think I'd have. And even though the doctors were saying there's nothing wrong, because I did so many tests to see if I can actually conceive, and everything was fine, and I just wasn't conceiving. So for me to have two boys close in age, it feels it's a blessing. I'm very handful. I'm still not sleeping properly, but I feel like it's a stage. Everything has, I can see how Zuzu is now as a big brother. I feel like this one will also eventually, maybe I'll have a third one, we'll see, and soon they'll be out of my house.
Hey, yo. And you would have started quite early, so that's great. That's great. Wow, guys. Wow, that's just been a handful of a story. But thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with us. And I'm sure that Keneiloe's story is going to help a lot of moms, you guys. I mean, even I myself, I've learned some new things. I mean, I work with a lot of moms, as you can imagine. But what I've realized, and then also from starting this pregnancy and birth story series, is that there's just something to learn from every mom.
Yes.
Even
There
if
really is.
one mom had a Caesar and another mom had a Caesar, but their experiences will never be the same.
True.
So there's always something that we can learn from all moms. And I really hope that these videos are going to encourage you guys. and you're going to learn something that you can even implement in your pregnancy or in your birthing story. But I think I really like the medical aid one.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I
Yes.
didn't think about that. So that's like, wow, that's amazing. And yeah, we spoke about placenta previa, so you guys can actually now when you go for your scan, if you are pregnant, then look at where the placenta is. Yeah.
I have one question. So you remember I had jaundice with both kids?
Oh yes. Yes. Tell me about the jaundice.
Yeah. Yes, Zuzu had jaundice. But we assumed it was because he was preterm.
Sometimes that happens, yes.
Okay. And then I had jaundice again with the second baby. And he was born 38 weeks, 9 days.
Okay, full term baby. Yeah.
Yes, it was full term. And he still had jaundice, and I didn't understand.
Because Zuzu was preterm.
Yeah, he was preterm. So I was like, oh, it's because he was preterm.
Yeah.
And I think the doctor did say maybe. I'm guessing there's other reasons, but to me, I'm like, okay, it's definitely because he was preterm.
Yeah.
And then I had it the second time around, and also the treatments were different.
Okay, so did I'm assuming probably Zuzu, because he was preterm, his was bad, was it? So how do they treat the jaundice?
So Zuzu got treatment from home.
Okay, was it the phototherapy where they brought in the light?
The lights and stuff. Yeah, I think that also contributed to.
Yeah, definitely. It can't not contribute.
Yes.
Because your baby's just in there, and you have to
in
take baby
there,
out
and
to change
told,
nappy,
like,
feed, and
if these glasses fall off, your baby gonna become blind. So you can imagine the
anxiety.
stress. I couldn't keep my eyes off this guy. At some point, my husband and I were taking turns to watch him, because he would just constantly pull the glasses, and he like, you can't take our eyes off this child. So during the day when my husband's at work, I'm sitting and watching this child, and he would cry, and also you were told to keep him here the whole day, but it's almost impossible to keep him there the whole day. So, but that did take way longer than the treatment with the second.
okay.
But the second one, we had treatment from the hospital. The doctor was like, I don't think he even gave us an option to have him. He just told us, his jaundice is high, bring him back. And then he got admitted for a few days, not long, maybe 2-3 days.
Okay.
Unlike with Zuzu, where we were doing the same thing for weeks.
For weeks.
It was weeks.
Oh my gosh.
So it wasn't so sometimes, because now we constantly had to do blood tests. Today it's fine. Tomorrow it's not.
All right. So with jaundice, there is the normal jaundice. We call it physiological jaundice. So anything that's physiological, it just happens because of normal bodily processes.
Okay.
Right. So there's that one. So jaundice doesn't always mean that there's a problem. Okay. And then there's the other jaundice that is pathological. So this one is abnormal. Okay. So the abnormal jaundice is the one that appears within 24 hours after the baby is born. Okay. So this one can result from things like your blood type and baby's blood type being like it doesn't match. Okay. Because baby can take your blood type, or baby can take daddy's blood type, right? So if now it's different, it might cause a reaction in baby. And then baby will be jaundiced, and it will show up immediately. Okay. So which is first day, right? And then there's the physiological jaundice. That one is, it happens because of the baby, right? So babies have immature livers. Their livers are not so well developed, and their red blood cells are constantly like breaking down, and new blood cells are being made, especially like the red blood cells. Okay, so the liver is responsible for breaking down these blood cells, especially the ones that have been already broken down, to take them out of the body. Okay. So if the red blood cells are not being broken down well enough, because now the liver, this is a newborn baby. This liver is still trying to learn this whole thing. So when the liver now is still immature and it doesn't do this process very well, then there's a certain substance that's released from the red blood cells when they are broken down, which is called bilirubin. Yes. So when that builds up in the blood and it's not excreted out, so the liver is involved in this process of excreting, and excreting is like expelling it out of the body. Yeah. So if now the bilirubin builds up in the blood, that's when you get that yellow color of like the skin, the white of the eyes as well. Yeah. So yeah, basically that's it. So that's why we will have, like, after you give birth, you'll have to see your midwife or like whoever's taking care of you between 3 and 6 days after birth, because now this physiological jaundice, sort of like normal jaundice, that's when it starts to appear.
Yeah, with both my kids, they literally appeared maybe the day we're getting discharged, which is 3-4 days later,
day 3.
or the day before we get discharged. It's like, where does it come from now?
So when you're at the hospital, so actually the pediatrician will come and see you like every day and check the baby's color and all of that. So if the baby is yellow, the baby might be slightly yellow or too yellow. If the pediatrician feels like, okay, no, this baby is too yellow, then they will do the blood test. And that blood test, it literally checks for the bilirubin. So if the bilirubin is high, that's when then they will. So there's levels also with that. There's the bilirubin level in day 1, day 2, day 3, and there's like normal margins of it. But when it's outside of the normal margin for, like, let's say day 3, if that's when it appears, then that's when the pediatrician will be like, okay, no, we need to take this child for phototherapy. If it comes out fine, then you'll still be able to be discharged home, and you can do things like putting baby in the sun for some time and frequent feeding as well. So you can, so that it can excrete, because the feeding, it helps. It's a complicated, I don't really want to explain, but it's like there's some of the excretion that happens in your intestines. So that's why the frequent feeding.
I remember they just say you need to feed so that it can come out. Okay, so I was asking, so that's like, so you can't do anything about it while you're still pregnant. It's not, you're not eating a lot of sutures, because I've heard a lot of like myths about.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Because it has to do with the baby's liver, and also things like your blood type being different from babies.
The blood type was not the same.
Of which you can't change that. Like there's nothing you can do about your blood type. Also, if maybe babies, because another thing that can cause jaundice is if the red blood cells are abnormal. So things like that. But no, you can't do anything about it. No. So guys, this was such an insightful conversation. We spoke a lot about everything, and we really hope that you guys enjoyed it and learned something from it. Please don't forget, if you related to something that we spoke about in this video, please do share your story with us in the comments section if you do feel comfortable. And you can even just say, hi Clalies, thank you Keneiloe. You can thank her for sharing your story with us. So thank you so much, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and click on the notification bell. So thank you so much, Keneiloe, and hopefully we'll have you again after the 3rd pregnancy, because guys, every pregnancy is different.
It is.
Yes, so we'll have to constantly update. So when you come back next time, with baby number 3. So guys, that's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.